Caroline, how about for Intel? I mean, rays of hope usually are pretty shimmering and fleeting in this stock.
Yeah, Intel shares adding to yesterday's weakness. It was down about 9% yesterday, now down another 1.25% today. We know that chipmaker has been really struggling to turn itself around after disappointing earnings, sluggish sales. Obviously, it's hemorrhaging money, but also trying to cut costs, slashing 15% of its workforce, playing catch up as it's late to the AI race. So many financial troubles. So we know it's actively reevaluating its global manufacturing plans, and it's supposed to, of course, receive the $8.5 million in grants. $11 billion in loans from the Chips and Service Act, but only, of course, if it meets key milestones. And Bloomberg is reporting that those plans are in grave trouble as there are growing questions around when or even if Intel will actually even get that money. Bloomberg saying that Intel has grown frustrated with what it sees as the government dragging its feet, has urged officials to release funding faster, but says Intel has resisted sharing some certain information requested by U.S. government officials who are really seeking to vet the viability of Intel's manufacturing roadmap. So that Chips and Services Act money under pressure. And then we also know that Intel, might have to take some drastic measures to really kind of right the ship, if you will. Reuters is reporting that a bit later this month, Pat Gelsinger, the CEO of Intel, and other executives will meet with the board to discuss plans which could involve shedding various businesses, including its programmable chips business, Altera. They also might have to scrap plans for a $32 billion factory in Germany. So always headlines going surrounding Intel, and many of which are negative. And included in that is the fact that D.A. Davidson actually upgraded shares to neutral for Intel, but cut its price target to $21 from $34. Intel currently trading just below $20 a share, so only about a dollar upside from current levels. So even that upgrade isn't necessarily positive news for shares of Intel, but now down 60% year to date.
Always a catch when there's something positive with Intel.
Here we have the current stock market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comment section below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the 15-minute price chart, and I do think that at this point it's probably best to start to look at the short-term time frames here. If we start to pull out to the longer-term time frames, things start to get a bit confused here because there is such a significant price gap that has formed on the charts at this point. So if we're going to make a real assessment of where trends are headed at the moment, I do think that we need to sort of drill down to these shorter-term time frames. Possibly 15 minutes or 30 minutes, so we can get a better sense of exactly where this stock is trading at the moment. So as things stand now, we have sort of broken to some new near-term lows coming in right around 1924. This does not yet retest this ultimate spike low, which came in at 1884. So that level so far has remained intact. However, this recent price low, which was generated right around 1950, has now broken to the downside. A lot of this selling pressure is being based on the market reaction that we've been seeing to the NVIDIA earnings report, and now this recent news event, which has suggested that NVIDIA could be the target of a Department of Justice, DOJ antitrust probe. This throws a huge wrench in the works as far as the entire technology space is concerned. And given the fact that Intel is currently trading on such a weak footing, we can see here that it really doesn't take much to force the stock new near-term lows. So all this negative news here is having an effect on Intel. And there are some longer-term questions also about whether or not this company is likely to meet its milestone targets to receive money from the federal government. A lot of these issues rest on the back, in my opinion, of the CEO of the company. I do think, if you've seen my other videos on this stock, I have suggested previously that there should really be some consideration about a new CEO at this point. There have been some major stumbling blocks here. Not all of them are as bad as they seem. For example, one, I did always think that, so the fact that there were recent layoffs with Intel, one of the major revelations in the most recent Intel earnings report came from the fact that the company is having to lay off a significant portion of its workers. In many cases, that's seen as a major negative, major warning flag for a company. But I didn't really think that that was the case here, because if you were to compare the workforce between NVIDIA and Intel, they were roughly similar. So there really did need to be some trimming down in the Intel workforce. However, the longer term picture here clearly remains negative, and whether or not Intel is actually going to meet the milestones that will be required to continue receiving federal money. The fact that this is even a question at all really should raise some additional questions about whether or not Pat Gelsinger should be continuing to lead this company. So as things currently stand, we're looking at near-term lows, as I said, coming in at 1924. Looking to the top side here, in order to take some pressure off of the downside, the first level that I would be watching does come in right around 1990. Normally, I don't like to look at psychological levels too much. I think that they can be a bit of a distraction. There are situations where there are a lot of buy and sell orders situated around psychological handles, $10, $20, $50, $100. But in this case, if we're looking at the 1990, just below this 2020 mark, we can see a few different pieces of technical evidence which do suggest that share prices could see some resistance there. And if we are able to break above this level, this does suggest that share prices could finally start to possibly gain some footing here and recover some of these recent losses. So specifically, the reason that I point to this area comes from the fact that this 1990 area roughly measures with the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement of the declining move from 2212 to 1924, as we can see here. So in addition to that, what we have is a prior period of historical resistance that has now formed in this area as well. So as we can see here, previously the share price did manage to find some resistance and head lower after this retest of this 23.6% Fibonacci retracement, as well as this declining 50-period exponential moving average. So currently that 50-period EMA has fallen below this level at the moment because it is a declining reference point here. However, this 100-period EMA is quickly declining into this area as well. So I do suspect that if we were to see a rise into 1990, we would probably be dealing with a retest of the 100-period exponential moving average, in addition to the historical resistance area and the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement of the most recent declining move lower. So we have three separate pieces of evidence here pointing in the same direction. And currently, the way that I'm viewing this chart is that if we were to see a break above there, we could probably start to take some pressure off of the downside, given the fact that the indicator reading here, shown in the relative strength index, would also probably start to break above this prior downward sloping trend line that has developed previously. So we're not quite there yet, and we can't currently say that there are expectations here for share prices to move higher. We also have a key event risk later today with the release of Broadcom's earnings, so that will give us a sense of how the AI market as a whole is likely to perform here near term. So this is a near term event risk, but perhaps if we do see some positive numbers there, we could start to see some upward price movement in Intel as well. And then I do think that a break above this 1990 level should start to take some pressure off of the downside for this stock. So here's the current market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.